a high, deep drive into left field, and this ball is long gone. Safe, he got under the tag.
One hop the wall and it lands for a double.
Want to ride into deep left field, and this ball is gone. Falmouth is going to the Western Division Final.
Hello and welcome to the pregame show for Game 1 of the Western Division Final. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzenowski. Last night was a fun one. The Doors won Game 3 8-2 over the Bourne Braves, but now it's a whole new day, whole new series, whole new foe. It's the Commodores versus their arch rival, the Cotuit Kettleers. 2 wins separate the Commodores from a date in the championship series. Also separates Cotuit from one as well. So let's take a look back at how we got here. The Doors conquer Bourne in 3 games. The Kettleers conquer Wareham in 3 games.
Yeah, a couple great series, especially Falmouth and Bourne. They won Game 1 3-2. Game 2 was 3-1. Really, really close games. And you think, all right, when is this team going to explode offensively? Can they? And the answer was a resounding yes. 8 runs last night on 8 hits, 2 home runs from Trey Cruz and Steven Moretto. Cotuit, on the other hand, they go down in Game 1 on a walk-off in 10 innings. They lose 8-7, and then they dominated the rest of that series. They won 22-2 in Game 2 and 4-1 last night, so limiting Wareham to just 3 runs across the final 2 games. They're riding high right now.
Yeah, Cotuit's offense was incredibly potent, especially in Game 2, but also pretty much all summer long. The Doors' offense was a little stagnant in Game 2 of their own series, but like you said, yesterday they exploded, led by Steven Moretto. He had 4 RBIs to lead the team in Game 3, and he gets to catch up with our own Katie Florio to talk about his performance and the mindset heading into round 2. Katie. Thank you, Katie. Now we take a deeper look at both of these teams, and on the summer, these guys have been fairly well matched, although the Doors have the 4-2 season series.
Yeah, 4-2 in the season series, but like I said last night, 3 throwaway games at the end of the year. Cotuit knew where they were put at that 3 spot. Falmouth had already locked up the division, so I don't really count those. I count the first 3 games. Falmouth still had the edge 2-1. These are 2 very, very evenly matched teams. So we take a look at some of those stats, Danny, even in about ERA, batting average, and some of the more important categories.
Yeah, you see it on your screen right now. Doors have Cotuit beat in ERA, but when it comes down to average, they're separated by 1 decimal point. Fielding percentage, 1 decimal point. Even home runs, which Cotuit was mashing at an insane pace early on in the summer, Doors caught up to them, especially late. So speaking of that offense Cotuit has, all those home runs they hit, that has been what has been carrying them all summer long, carried them in the Wareham series, and this is an even better offense than we saw last series with Bourne.
Yeah, I think that these first couple games are going to be a lot more high scoring, because in Game 1 and 2 against Bourne, it was 3-2 and 3-1, as we mentioned. I think you're going to be looking at 7-5, 7-4, maybe 8-9 runs scored by some of these teams. So I think the offenses are really going to start to have a field day, especially in these first couple games.
It's the 2nd straight year in which the Commodores find themselves in the Western Division Final. Last year, they went winless, lost both games and got swept by the Wareham Gatemen. This year, they're facing off against the Kettleers. It'll be sure to be a jam-packed house. Cotuit fans travel well, and the Doors fans came in droves yesterday. So be sure to tune in at 6 p.m. for first pitch on YouTube. That'll be it for the pregame show. For David Korzenowski, Katie Florio, I'm Daniel LaRose. We'll see you in a sec. Hello and welcome back into the press box here at Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korsanowski. We were just here last night in a pivotal Game 3. It was win or go home. The Commodores won. They're back at home in a different sense of the word, and they're ready to take on the Cotuit Kettleers.
Yeah, this game isn't do or die in the sense of if they lose tonight, they still will play tomorrow, but it's pretty darn close because in a 3-game series, the winners since 2010 of Game 1 have gone on to win the series 78% of the time, and especially with the pitching rotation for both teams that has been exhausted in a 3-game series in the first round, it's really important to get off on the right foot tonight.
Falmouth threw 2 of their 3 aces, and then their pretty darn good number 2 man in series number 1. So they're going to Justin Robleski, a guy who came out of the bullpen throughout the first half of the summer, but since he's been put into the starting role, he's been pretty sharp.
Definitely, Danny. In his last 2 starts, he got 2 wins in 5 innings of work. You can't ask for much more. I think they're definitely looking to him for at least 5 tonight, and he doesn't have to be perfect. He doesn't have to be Franco Aleman and go without giving up a hit until the 7th inning.
Right.
This is a Cotuit team that can hit the baseball. If he can limit them to 3 or 4 runs, Trey Holland, the Commodores can get to him, so possibly could get out of that 5th inning with a lead. I think that's what Michael Andrews looking for.
Doors did see Trey Holland back on July 30th out at Cotuit. They got the win over Trey. Took them a couple times through the order to get to him, but he's kind of a meatballer, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I think Cotuit's pitching staff has been, to use the same word I just did, exhausted, because Sean Sullivan is their ace. No exaggeration. If he's on Falmouth, he's their 4th guy. Franco Aleman, Carmen Majinski, and Nick Nestrina are all better starters than him, and he is the go-to for Cotuit. He pitched Game 2. Then they have a bunch of guys who are position players that get a good amount of appearances, so I think Mike Roberts' team is just trying to piece it together and get 2 wins.
We will now turn our attention towards the field as Nick Gonzalez, the leadoff man for Cotuit, steps up to the dish. Gonzalez, the Cape League MVP, continues to play like one. He was just barely beaten out for the batting title by Falmouth's own Zach DeLoach. And the first pitch to the righty is cranked into left field but foul. First pitch coming at 6:01 p.m. here in Falmouth.
Gonzalez's numbers just absolutely insane this summer. 351 average, 14 doubles, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, and I'm just getting started.
He was far and away the Cape League MVP. It was no contest. Gonzalez on this Cotuit team that has been mashing all summer long. It's been their offense that has been their brightest spot. And it's part of the reason why they were able to knock off Wareham, especially looking at Game 2.
Yeah, 22-2. They had 10 runs in the 7th inning. They batted 13 in that frame alone.
Here's the 0-2 from Robleski. It's a fastball that misses high. Gonzalez hits everybody well, but particularly left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
This guy's got a .382 batting average against lefties, including a whopping 12 extra base hits. Facing a 1-2 count against this lefty, though. Justin's 1-2. Breaking ball that's cut on and missed for strike 3. Great start to the ball game for Justin Robleski as he K's up the Cape League MVP.
Yeah, that's not a bad start at all, but I'm almost more interested to watch Mervis because we know Gonzalez is going to produce. There's no way to hold him off the board. The best you can do is limit him, but Matt Mervis has been sneaky, one of the best players on this team. You can't be better than Gonzalez, but he had a .325 average in the regular season with 24 RBIs of his own.
The lefty swings at the first pitch he sees, loops it into center field. Blake Dunn had a long way to go for that one, nearly in Langworthy's territory, who gives him a playful shove, but that's the second out of the inning. This Cotuit lineup will run through it for you, led off by Gonzalez, then Mervis. They both went down. This is Iraj Anu, cleanup hitter Casey Schmidt. Behind him, Colton Kessler, the DH. Parker Chavers follows Kessler. Then it's Adam Oviedo, Dante Williams, and Cody Pasek to round out the Kettleer order. Foul ball into the opposite field. 0-1 to Anu.
And looking through their playoff stats, a ton of guys with 3+ RBIs. And you got to remember, oh, wait, they scored 22 runs in a game.
Yeah, pretty much all came in that one game for a lot of these guys. Another breaking ball for another strike. Robleski peppering the zone. Here's the 0-2. That breaking ball can't catch the outside corner. Trying to go backdoor with a couple of these.
In his first few outings of the summer, he really struggled with the walk numbers, and that still is the one thing that gives him a little bit of pause.
Here's the pitch. It's a tapper foul. Gives us a chance to roll through the defensive alignment for these Commodores. It's Robleski pitching into Troy Claunch. Over at first base, Jackson Coots, second base, Cantrell, shortstop, Trey Cruz, third base, Steven Moretto, a similar infield we're used to seeing. In the outfield, Zach Deloach in right, center field, Blake Dunn, and a new guy in left, Austin Langworthy. He got his first start of the playoffs yesterday, but he was the DH. 1-2, swung on and missed for strike 3. Big breaking ball from Robleski, retires the side. 2 swinging strikeouts sandwiched around a flyout. The Kettleers go down 1-2-3, and we'll head to the bottom of the first. 0-0, your score to start us out.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
You're taking a look at Trey Holland, the lefty for Cotuit, warming up for the Kettleers. A 1-0 record on the summer, and his last time out was against the Commodores, so edge Falmouth when you talk about matchup.
Yeah, he pitched 4 innings back on July 30th. And the thing with this left-hander is he's not going to blow you away with speed. He's kind of a meatballer and one of the slower arms that Falmouth is going to see in the playoffs. His fastball tops out, in the low 80s. The Commodores tagged him for 3 earned runs and 4 innings of work, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 2 Ks. Falmouth really came on late in that game that started to drag in innings 3 through 6 and got their win against Cotuit to lock up the season series.
So the Doors, who were able to put up 8 runs yesterday against Bourne's number 3 man. Well, I guess 5 of those runs came against him, but 8 runs in total against Bourne pitching. Now up against a Cotuit staff that has also gone through their fair share of arms, and that's why they're going to Holland. Hayden Cantrell is going to lead off for the Doors as we roll through the Falmouth lineup. It's Cantrell leading off, followed by Blake Dunn and Zach Deloach. Trey Cruz in the cleanup spot, as always. Pretty much the same lineup that we're used to seeing, just no Austin Maisel. Instead, we're getting Austin Langworthy in the 9-hole. Cantrell, a switch hitter, batting righty. First pitch he sees, he swings at, and he lines it foul. Cotuit defensive alignment. Trey Holland throwing into Cody Pasek. At third base, Matt Mervish. Shortstop, Adam Oviedo. Second base, Nick Gonzalez. First base, Casey Schmidt. Here's the 0-1, just high. Orish Anu is out in right. Dante Williams in center, and Parker Chavers is in left. 1-1. Fastball outside corner. That strike called by Mark Piantadosi. First base, the umpire is Alan Libardoni. Second base, the umpire is Frank Auditori. Third base, Joe Peters. And now I think we've gone through all the paperwork. Draw your own conclusions. 1-2. Misses outside.
Hayden Cantrell, pretty solid start to the playoffs. 4 for 14 for a .286 average and a double. Scored the only run of the game for the Commodores in Game 2 against Bourne.
Holland's 2-2 offering. That's a late swing by Cantrell as he pulls it over towards short. Oviedo, quick relay into first base in time. It's a 6-3 putout on what could have been ball 3.
Yeah, that reminds me of Steven Moretto's swing yesterday, though, out into right field. He saw that that pitch on the outside part of the plate was going to be called a strike, so he was defensive. He adjusted, and he swung at that same pitch. Maybe it was a little bit more outside and could have been called a ball, but he didn't want to chance it, and I like that approach.
So here comes Blake Dunn. He's got a hit in every single game of the playoffs, a guy who's really come on offensively for this team once they needed it most in the postseason. That first pitch coming in at 83 miles an hour, and that's probably the fastest you'll see from Holland all night. The 1-0. Right down the middle, it's shot out into center field. This is a deep one. Williams is back at the track, and he will make the catch just shy of the fence.
And that's what's tough about an 83-mile-an-hour fastball is it's tough to get out of the ballpark. You really got to put some extra oomph on it and try to rotate those hips to get the power that you need to generate.
So now it'll be Zach DeLoach with nobody on and 2 away. DeLoach beat the man at second base for the batting title. This is a great, 1v1 competition that we get to see in the postseason. First pitch to DeLoach hits the inside corner. You don't usually get to see that in baseball unless it's pitcher versus hitter, but it almost feels like it's a, this is an insane comparison, but a KD versus Westbrook type matchup. 0-1. Inside corner, grounded up and over the outstretched glove of the first baseman, Casey Schmidt, into right field. A funky hop, but it'll work for DeLoach. It's a hit.
And we saw them go toe-to-toe in those last 3 games of the regular season, Danny, because at that point, Gonzalez and DeLoach were vying for the batting title.
Yep.
And in game 42 of the regular season, back on July 30th, DeLoach out-hit Gonzalez and then edged him out in the doubleheader as well to finish 2 points ahead of him for the Cape League crown and batting average.
Here's Trey Cruz, who had a monster night yesterday, all because of one swing of the bat. A 3-run home run that would prove to be all the Doors would need in the ballgame. That home run, coming in the 3rd inning, was hit deep into left field, nearly on the roadway past the fence. First pitch to Trey on the outside corner for a strike. He's now batting .341 on the postseason. Has racked up 4 total home runs on the summer. I think 2 of them coming from the right side, 2 from the left side, so he's evening out the power pretty well. 0-1. Misses in the dirt, good block by Pasek.
That's a good take. What I want to see Falmouth do as well is start running on Holland. I know it's tough as a left-hander, but with that slow delivery and the slow fastball, you can probably test your luck on the base paths. DeLoach with plenty of speed that he exhibited throughout the year with 8 stolen bases.
He was only caught once, and again, like you said, really the only chance to catch a base runner right now is if he picks you off. I don't think Pasek really has a chance with this ball coming in this slowly. DeLoach with a moderate lead off of first base. 2-1 count to Cruz. He is running. It's a breaking ball at 66. The throw down is way late, although Zach did not slide, so he nearly was tagged out.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. The second baseman, Gonzalez, didn't even try to apply the tag.
Looked like he dropped it.
Yeah, and again, it was a little bit late getting to him, so he thought he had no chance. DeLoach didn't slide. Now in scoring position.
Well, that was easy money for Zach for his 9th stolen base of the summer and first of the postseason. Now Trey Cruz with a duck on the pond at second base and a friendly hitter's count to him, 3-1. First, they're going to check back as the pickoff throw went all the way back towards Gonzalez, who was a good 10 feet behind the bag.
And that's something that Mike Roberts likes to do. He likes to have his pitchers throw to any base and get used to a motion that's not just delivering to the plate.
3-1. Misses low for ball 4. Cruz is going to take first base on a 5-pitch walk.
And that's the one stat that was really lopsided between Cotuit and Falmouth. Cotuit's pitching staff issued 180 walks. That was 9th in the Cape League. Falmouth, on the other hand, their pitching staff issued just 115, so they really limited the free passes. Cotuit can shoot themselves in the foot sometimes with those walks.
Here's Jackson Coots, the lefty from Rhode Island. First pitch he sees, he goes after like always. Fouls it right back towards us. Jackson has been hot throughout the rest of the latter half of the season and then into the playoffs. 5 for 12 on the postseason. That's a .416 average. Yesterday, He got the scoring started for the Doors with an RBI single in his first at-bat en route to going 2 for 4. 0-1 inside half, but he splits it the other way. 0-2 now to Coots, who also tore up the Kettleers, was 5 for 13. That's a .385 clip with a couple RBIs against Cotuit in the few games played he had. I think it was 4 he played against Cotuit. Time called right as Holland was lifting the leg. Deloach on second, he singled. Cruz on first, he walked. Both of those coming with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Tapper back towards the mound. This is going to be a tough play for Holland, but he executes it well on the spin around. Jackson Coots took a check swing, and he goes down a put-out victim to the pitcher. And the Doors score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and strand a pair on the base paths. Justin Robleski back to toe the rubber for the Commodores in the top half of the second.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday. Red Shirt Fridays.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
It was smooth sailing for Justin Robleski in the top of the first inning. He got out of that inning 1-2-3. Now for the second, he'll have to face Casey Schmidt, Colton Kessler, and Parker Chavers in this Cotuit lineup.
Yeah, that top third for Cotuit, by far the best. You got 2 hitters above 325 batting average in Gonzalez and Mervis, and then a new with 6 home runs. He's a big power guy as well. Schmidt, Kessler, and Chavers not as powerful offensively, with Schmidt batting just .248 in the regular season.
First pitch he goes after, and he's down 0-1. Casey was integral to Cotuit cementing their series victory over Wareham last night, but that was because he was on the mound. He pitched the final 5 innings of the ball game and didn't allow a run. This ball misses low, 1-1.
Yeah, pretty incredible. And again, Mike Roberts likes to use some of his position guys on the mound because they really don't have a solid bullpen or a solid starting rotation. See guys like Matt Mervis moving around on the mound as well.
They're lucky that they've got a bunch of great two-way players they
Yeah.
can go to.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the Doors have Langworthy and Ross, but compared to the amount of two-way guys Cotuit has,
Right.
pales in comparison. Here's the 1-2 from Robleski. On the inside corner, did he go around? No, he didn't. It was a little too far inside. Schmidt 2 for 11 in these playoffs. A home run and 2 RBIs. That came in Game 2 against Wareham. 2-2. Popped up on the infield in foul territory. Troy Clonch giving chase, but it's going to go well out of play.
Yeah, amongst the many fans here in Falmouth, another good crowd tonight. Last night we saw, I think, the most I've seen in 2 summers.
Yeah.
Over 2,000 here filling the wooden bleachers and putting those lawn chairs out along the right and left field lines.
There's a ton of Cotuit fans here as well. The closest ballpark in proximity to Falmouth. 2-2 misses up high. And those Kettleer fans, they really come out in droves for their team. They're diehards.
Yeah, they do. They really travel well. Not often that you see such a large contingent following the team around the Cape, but Cotuit definitely does that.
3-2 the count to Schmidt. Here's the pitch. Fastball that's roped into center field, and Trey Cruz won't have a play. It's a base hit in the first base runner for the Kettleers.
Really good at bat work by Schmidt. He was down 1-2, fouled off a pitch. He had a really big hold up too on the pitch where Robleski thought he might have went around, and then he takes a 3-2 off speed on the inside part of the plate. Takes it on the inside part of the bat and puts it out into center field.
Here's Colton Kessler, the DH from the University of Kentucky. Runner on first in Schmidt and nobody out. This middle of the lineup wasn't all that productive in the regular season as the first pitch settles in onto the inside zone for strike number 1. Kessler in particular ended the summer with a 138 average and 28 strikeouts. Had 5 RBIs in his 9 hits. Robleski from the stretch for the first time tonight. Kicks and deals. Ground ball left side. That one's going to get past Trey Cruz towards the other direction. Colton Kessler goes opposite field, and a couple of liners towards the left side get through for base hits.
Yeah, and neither has been hit really hard. Thought Trey Cruz might have had a chance on the line drive from Schmidt, and then he was playing in double play depth closer to second base. If he's in his regular position with nobody out or maybe a runner on second base, that definitely would have been an out.
Now a balk is going to be called as Robleski. I was looking down at my scorecard. I don't know what he did there, but he must have jittered a little bit, and that got a balk call from both the home plate umpire and the second base umpire. Labella and Piantadosi, or pardon me, Auditor and Piantadosi both calling it out at the same time, and no argument made by Robleski. So now the double play is out of order, and 2 runners are in scoring position for Cotuit with nobody out. First pitch to Parker Chavers on the outside corner, strike 1. Heck of a jam that Robleski has now found himself into. And like you said, neither of those very sharply hit. 0-1 the count to the lefty from Coastal Carolina. Here's the pitch. Outside for ball 1.
Yeah, but in tightly contested playoff games, that's all you need. Base knock here and there. Beginning of the game for the Commodores yesterday against Bourne, their first 3 hits were all bloopers into the outfield.
That's exactly what I was thinking. They were able to get a run on 3 balls that probably could have been pop-outs. Here's a ground ball towards Trey Cruz. Takes a funky hop, skips up off of his wrist, and into center field. First run of the ball game belongs to the Kettleers after that one.
And right now the ball is just finding Trey Cruz, and it's either just out of his reach or extremely tough to field. All 3 base hits for the Commodores, for the Kettleers, have been right at Trey Cruz or in his direction, and that's a really tough play to make because it skipped right in front of him, almost ate him up on his calf. Had to field that on a sharp hop, and it just skipped into the outfield.
That one ruled a single rather than an E6 due to the funky hop that it took. He was with it all the way. All of a sudden, it skipped up on his left wrist, and what was interesting was that Casey Schmidt on third base wasn't darting towards home off contact, even though he was playing that deep. So if Trey came up with it, would have meant an out and no run. First pitch to Adam Oviedo is over for a strike. Runners are on the corners now after that single. Still no outs. All 3 of the hits for Cotuit have been hit, like you said, towards Cruz. 1 to his left too far, 1 to his right too far, and 1 right at him too hard. Justin looks back, Chavers at first. Checks again, now comes home. The 0-1 is lofted into left field. Deep enough to probably score the run. Langworthy's underneath it. Tagging up from third is Kessler. He's going to score without a throw. It's now 2-0 Cotuit.
Maybe a little bit of relief for the Commodores now, though, because you don't have any runners in scoring position. You can just focus on the guy on first, try to get a double play, and then get it back to your bats. Just some tough hops for the Commodores here in the second. But as I said, I think that this series, especially the first couple games, are going to be much more high scoring. It's not like this is game 2 against Bourne where the runs are far and few between.
Dante Williams, the Arizona Wildcat, will come up to the plate. He's the 8-hitter playing center field. Watches a strike to make the count 0-1. Oviedo, after the sacrifice fly, like you mentioned, erased all runners in scoring position, but Shaver still hanging around at first base. Williams, a .286 average against Falmouth this summer, thanks to 2 hits. 0-1. Breaking ball that's lined up the first base side, but just foul. First 3 men in this inning all reached base with singles to the left side. 2 of them were brought home, and the Commodores, despite having 2 runners on in their first inning, down 2-0. Robleski worked a perfect first inning. Right now he's found himself in a little bit of trouble.
That's a great swing from Williams. Sharply breaking slider that moved to the outside part of the plate. And Williams with the late swing just gets the head of the bat on it to stay alive.
He's got 3 hits on the postseason so far, 3 for 11, and does have 3 RBIs, all of them coming in Game 2 against Wareham. Again, that 22-run output definitely boosted these guys' numbers. 0-2. Ground ball towards second. This could be 2. Cantrell, glove flip to Cruz. The throw on to first, not in time. Dante Williams loses the helmet, but he beats out the throw, and it's a fielder's choice for the second out of the inning.
And that was as quickly as the Commodores could have turned that. Williams just has so much speed. He plays center field for a reason. He's great at tracking balls defensively, and he busts his butt down the first base line to beat out that throw. Definitely touched the bag in time.
Now it'll be Cody Pasek, the 9-hitter and catcher from Maine, up to bat for the Kettleers. Went 0 for 5 against the Commodores throughout the summer. Williams with a lot of speed. He's taking a good lead off of first. Good secondary lead as well, as the first pitch is a bouncer foul.
And it's really important if you're Robleski to get this final out, because you want Gonzalez leading off the third inning with nobody on base. The Commodores have actually been able to limit the MVP in terms of RBIs. He only has 1 versus Falmouth on the summer, and that's because he's usually up to start off innings.
Good point. That is huge if they can get Pasek right here. Just have to face Gonzalez with nobody on base. Pasek, a .206 hitter on the summer. 12 walks and 15 Ks, one of the few guys who had more walks than strikeouts.
I was thinking of this analogy. This might be a stretch, but hear me out. Ed Reed inducted into the Hall of Fame for the NFL, right? There was that famous quote where Tom Brady had on his wristband, find 20 on every play. Falmouth has to find 15 in every inning. They have to know where he is in the batting order and when he's coming up, because it's so important to make sure that he's up without base runners on.
That's a great point. In the field as well, because he's pretty darn good with his glove.
I mean, he can single-handedly win Cotuit a game or 2. He's that good.
1-1 misses high. Claunch trying to backpick over towards first. It squeaks between the legs of Jackson Coots into right field, and Williams is going to take second. We've seen Doors catchers try to pull that off a handful of times, and finally it burns them as Williams is able to nab second base thanks to the errant throw.
That's a need too, and now it's even more important to get this out because you could possibly have runners on the corners if Pasek reaches.
2-1 count to the catcher, who's 3 for 7 in these playoffs. Williams is running towards third. The ball misses down away, and Claunch couldn't get the grip in time to catch the speedster.
And he was about halfway down between second and third by the time Robleski let go of the ball. But if you're the left-hander on the mound right now, you don't have to worry about him. There's 2 outs. Just get him to put the ball in play Trust your defense.
3-1. Misses high, ball 4. Bad becomes worse as the MVP of the Cape League will come up to the plate with 2 outs, runners on the corners, and already 2 runs home in this long second inning.
Nick Gonzalez hitting .357 with a home run and 8 RBIs with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
First pitch he sees just catches the outside half. Cotuit doesn't like it.
He's hitting .406 in general with runners in scoring position. This guy is even better when he's got runners on second and third.
He's also carrying an 11-game hitting streak into the postseason. 0-1. Big drive into deep left field. That one is hooking, and it will go foul. If it was fair, it would have been a 3-run home run.
But this is what Wrobleski did to get ahead of Gonzalez 1 and 2 last time. Went off speed and then fastball. Now he's got Gonzalez down 0-2. You got to be careful here, though. I'd say keep it outside. Maybe a backdoor curveball or backdoor slider. Just try to tag the outside black and get a swinging strike.
Nick Gonzalez, only a .250 hitter on the postseason entering this ball game. Now 4 for 17. Wrobleski's 0-2. Runs too far inside off the backstop. Clonch tried to get to the ball. Instead, Piantadosi got in his way, and the 3rd run of the inning will come home thanks to the wild pitch.
Commodores shooting themselves in the foot right now. From the E2 to the stolen base to the wild pitch.
Pasek on to second base, so Gonzalez still has a runner in scoring position. 1-2 the count. Wrobleski's going to step off. Clonch calling out towards Cantrell. Go cover the runner at second. Pasek is taking an enormous lead. Now Cantrell sauntering over slowly. I think they're going to try to catch him sneakily. Wrobleski looking back. Comes home. Breaking ball. Misses outside.
Yeah, he tried to get that to tag the outside black, but just way high and out.
Three runs for Cotuit, all of them coming home in this inning. All of their hits in this inning as well. The first inning was perfect for Wrobleski, 1-2-3, and he looked like he was back to his old self. Here's a ground ball towards third base. Tough play for Moretto. Throw from behind the bag.
Oh.
Couldn't be scooped by Jackson Coots. Going to be ruled an infield single as Gonzalez beats one out. And runners will be on first and second for the 8th hitter of the inning.
Wow. And the Doors have had so many chances to get out of this inning. If Coots squeezes that, Gonzalez still might have been safe, but I don't know, just the small things defensively for the Commodores. They're not looking in sync. It seems like every other game they're looking sharp defensively.
Matt Mervis flew out to center field his first time up, but has been pretty solid against the Doors this summer. Watches a strike tag the outside corner. Mervis has an even .400 batting average during the regular season against the Commodores. 9 RBIs. Against lefties, he's also batting .308. Pretty darn good hitter from Duke. Wrobleski's 0-1. Breaking ball. Foul.
And remember how this inning started again with those bloop and gap singles from Schmidt, Kessler, and Shavers. It shows you don't need much to get some offensive momentum.
0-2 the count to Mervis. It was a 2-strike count that Gonzalez had when he saw a wild pitch go past him to score a run and then legged out an infield hit. Fastball just misses the outside corner. Mervis, the 8th hitter of this inning. 4 of them singled, 1 walked, 1 reached on a fielder's choice, 1 had a sacrifice fly. Pretty much everybody has been productive for Cotuit, who's gotten to the plate. Justin's 1-2. Breaking ball that's clubbed out towards left field. Falling fast. Langworthy chasing, and he will make the grab off to his side to finally end this inning. It's a long one and a successful one for the Kettleers. They score 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and strand 2 runners left on base. To the bottom of the second we go. Doors now down 3.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
An ugly top of the second has the Commodores trailing 3-0. But anything can happen, and the Doors, trying to stay optimistic, will come back up to the plate for Trey Holland's second round through. First inning, he allowed a hit, let up a walk, got out of the inning unscathed. Doors will be led off by Troy Clonch, followed by Barron Radcliffe and Stephen Moretto. 6, 7, and 8 in this lineup. Clonch has been hitting the ball very well recently. Hasn't been finding outfield grass as much as he would like. Yesterday, one swing comes to mind where he blasted one into the deepest part of left center field, but it was flagged down for a catch. Lefty Holland from the windup on that third base side of the rubber, kicks and deals the first pitch to the catcher from Oregon State. It's a breaking ball down and away. At 65 miles an hour, says the scoreboard. Here's the 1-0. Misses outside, 2-0 to Clonch.
Yeah, for those who might just be joining us for the first time this summer, fastballs in the Cape League usually high 80s, low 90s. These guys are only 1 year away from professional baseball in a lot of cases.
2-0 to Clonch right down the middle for a strike.
And off speed, whether it's a changeup, a curveball, or a slider, usually between high 70s and mid 80s. Subtract about 10 miles an hour from every pitch, and you have Trey Holland's arsenal.
Here's the 2-1 to a guy who's 1 for 9 so far in the playoffs. Last night he went 0 for 3, was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning and came around to score. He's gotten a start in every single game. Catcher now 3 times, DH once. The 3-1 swung on and missed. Foul tipped into the glove.
Green light for Clonch on the 3-1. The Doors trying to get their leadoff man aboard here in the second after a 3 spot from Cotuit. This is the largest deficit that Falmouth's had in the playoffs.
Payoff pitch from Holland. Fastball upstairs for ball 4. They got the leadoff man on.
And again, Cotuit's going to do that. They're going to walk batters, so you have to be patient as well. Barron Radcliffe, a guy still looking for his first hit, but the Commodores will take base runners any way they can get him. That's a good at-bat by Clonch.
Radcliffe, a powerful lefty, immediately calls into action the Cotuit Hodge towards the right side of the infield. Putting on a slight shift against Barron. First pitch thrown by Holland just catches the knees on the inner half. Radcliffe so far 0 for 4 during these playoffs. He got a day of rest yesterday. Oh, 1 outside corner this time, strike 2.
Radcliffe didn't like it. He was trying to take the Troy Clonch approach and take some pitches and try to get ahead in the count, but now he's got to be defensive
After a walk, Holland all of a sudden hitting his spots perfectly. Here's his 0-2 to Barron. Foul tip. 72-mile-an-hour slider it looked like he was just able to make contact with.
Yeah, and I think he was way in front of that as well. Just got a piece of it with the head of the bat.
Radcliffe from Georgia Tech finished with 11 walks and 37 Ks on the summer. Here's the 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Barron's biggest issue has been strikeouts throughout his entire 2019 campaign, and it burns him there. That's the first out of the second inning.
And how about that from Holland? A guy who is a recent addition to Cotuit. He's going to be a junior next year at Sewanee, a.k.a. the University of the South. He goes up against an ACC opponent in Barron Radcliffe with the big 6'4" frame and retires him.
First pitch to Steven Moretto, taken up and away. Steven was our highlighted player for the pregame show for good reason. He went 1 for 3 yesterday and racked up 4 RBIs on a sacrifice fly in his third at-bat, and his fourth and final at-bat was a 3-run home run that was the final nail in the coffin for the Bourne Braves season. 1-0 to Moretto, misses low. He's got a friendly hitter's count.
He had just a 175 average in the regular season with 3 home runs, and all of them coming late. He really found his power in the latter half of the season.
2-0, misses up and away, 3 balls, no strikes. Steven Moretto, we know he's got a lot of power. 17 home runs in his first 2 years at Sacramento State. Didn't see his power until the latter half of the season, like you said, but he hit 2 home runs in a span of about 3 games. Then it cooled off again. Here's the 3-0. Just tags the outside corner. Falmouth dugout didn't appreciate that call.
Right now, Holland is just so hit or miss. 3-ball count to Clonch, no balls thrown to Radcliffe. Now a 3-ball count to Moretto.
We'll see if the Doors can work another walk. That's how Clonch got on. Here's the pitch. Fouled away. Moretto 2 for 10 during these playoffs. He had a hit in Game 2 against Bourne. It was a blooper. And then his hit yesterday was about 250 feet further than the bloop. A moonshot to the same part of the ballpark that Trey Cruz hit his home run. 3-2 the count to Steven, but it's going to have to wait. Trey Holland so far up to 32 pitches. 18 of them for strikes, 14 of them for balls. Here's the 3-2. Fastball fouled away towards the opposite field.
Good battle, and they're working up the pitch count for Holland, who's up to 33 pitches, 19 strikes, 14 balls.
Steven had a 5-game hitless stretch entering the playoffs, but now has hits in back-to-back games. Looking to make it 3 in a row. Payoff pitch. Roped into deep left field, but that one is going to hang up long enough for the left fielder Chavers to get there and reel it in for out number 2.
Similar to Dunn's flyout. That's a 76-mile-an-hour changeup that Moretto sits on, gets good contact, but flies out. You almost have better luck if you get soft contact for a bloop single than hard contact, because it's so tough to go yard off this guy.
The only time the Doors faced Holland, they weren't really able to get much going the first couple times through the order, then were able to tag him for a few. First pitch to Austin Langworthy, the 9-hitter is taken for a strike.
And this game's far from over. I know a 3-run deficit, especially after the series against Bourne, might feel like a lot, but Falmouth clawed back from a 3-1 deficit, 4-2 deficit against Cotuit on July 30th.
Broken bat sends a shard towards the fans. The ball goes to second base, and Gonzalez will retire Langworthy easily. That completely sawed off his lumber and sent a couple of fans sprawling. But all's well that ends well for Cotuit. It's a ground out to retire the side in the second. The Doors score no runs on no hits, no errors, and they strand their leadoff man on first base. We'll go to the top of inning number 3. 3-0 Cotuit on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20 plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options. The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
To the top of the third inning we go. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzenowski on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. The Doors and the Kettleers, both teams 2 wins away from punching their tickets into the championship series. Right now, Cotuit off to a great start.
And how about Harwich?
Yeah.
Now just 1 win away from punching their ticket to the championship series. They just finished up a 5-1 win out at Red Wilson Field against the number 1 seed Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. Listen to this. YD out-hit Harwich 11-5, but 5 errors for YD did them in.
Harwich only committed the 1 error, and that's why they were able to get that victory. Here's the first pitch to the 3-hitter, Iraja New. It's taken outside for ball 1.
Harwich scored just 1 earned run.
Doors would like some of that. Cotuit and Falmouth, 2 of the teams near the basement of the league in fielding percentage. Talked about it in our pregame show, but they were just separated by 1 decimal point when it came to fielding percentage, but they were in the bottom of the bottom third on the Cape. One count to Anu. Struck out swinging his first time up. Here's the pitch to the home run derby contestant. A big swing, but a miss.
Rajanu has struggled against Falmouth with just that 182 batting average against the Doors.
1-2 from Robleski. Just tipped at the plate. Klonch couldn't hang on to it, and the count will remain the same.
Just like Bourne, Cotuit early in this series, not going down easily with 2 strikes against them.
That was pretty much Bourne's biggest asset was 2-strike hitting and just 2-strike plate vision.
Yeah.
Cotuit showing that early. 1-2, well outside. That's an easy one to lay off.
And Robleski's pitch count is way higher than the Doors wanted, already 47 for the left-hander.
For 2 teams that went 3 games in series number 1,
right.
You want your starters to go deep. Here's a chopper towards short. It takes a funny hop. And Trey Cruz, who's playing so deep towards the third base bag, his positioning on every one of these baseballs has done him in. Can't blame him.
Yeah,
again,
I mean, he's not exactly. He's not in the wrong spot for any of these. For Schmitz, he was in his regular spot and it's up the middle. For Kesslers, he's up the middle and it's back at his regular spot.
Right.
Shavers is a hard hit line drive that bounces right in front of him, and that one hit the lip of the grass.
It was hard hit just enough that Cruz had no chance to even make a diving stop. That's now the 5th hit for Cotuit. All of them singles, all of them to the left side. Swing and a miss, strike 1 for Casey Schmidt. Schmidt led off that 2nd inning, came around to score. 8 batters reached the plate, and 3 of them came home. Schmidt had the single that was up the middle. The 0-1. Fly ball into shallow right field. Long run for Deloach, but he will get there and call us off Cantrell as well. That's out number 1.
Now batting the designated hitter from the University of Kentucky, number 25, Colton Kessler.
And that's a big first out. Robleski didn't get an out until the sac fly in the 2nd inning. But if he can get out of this inning unscathed, it's still just a 3-run deficit. And the Doors starting to see Holland a little bit better.
Kessler 0 for 8 against the Commodores entering this ball game. Had a single his last time up. Makes him 1 for 9 on the summer. First pitch he sees, outside corner for a strike.
Double play here would be huge. He can definitely do it because Kessler doesn't have a lot of speed.
And in terms of pitch count, that would save the Doors. They've already got a righty warming. Robleski taking a long, long time. Finally, Kessler says enough of that.
One thing you got to remember, too, if you're a Falmouth Commodores fan, the fact that Bourne pushed Falmouth 3 was huge for Cotuit, because then Aleman has to go in Game 3 against Bourne. Can you imagine if he's pitching tonight?
Probably be hitless. 0-1, lined up towards Cruz again, and that one gets over his outstretched mitt. Boy, Cotuit is really just giving fits for Trey Cruz to deal with that he has not been able to come down with any of these.
And still without an error. I mean, he has made no mistakes. It's just out of his reach by an inch here, a foot there. He timed the jump well, just a little bit too high over his glove. He's got a target on his back right now.
They have hit 6 baseballs into fair play. 5 of them have gone towards Trey Cruz and have beaten him by a couple of inches every single time. Just wasn't tall enough for that one. His arms weren't long enough for the previous one. Does really seem like they are getting great bounces. Now comes Parker Chavers. He singled as well his last time up. First pitch, a breaking ball, up and in. Chavers now with hits in 4 of his last 5. Had an RBI his first at bat, now 4 RBIs in his last 3 games played. The 1-0. Fly ball into center field. This should be playable for Dunn, who has to go back a long ways. But he will make the catch with room. Tagging up and going towards third is Anu as the throw comes into second base.
And Cotuit right now, in that first inning, you think it's smooth sailing for Robleski. He faces the top 3 in the order and puts them all down on less than 10 pitches. But innings 2 and 3 just dragging on, and they're getting hard contact as well as Shavers took him deep to center.
That one just seemed to keep on carrying. Here comes Adam Oviedo. Had an RBI in his first at-bat. It was a sacrifice fly to left. He had a 4-game hitting streak snapped last night when he went 0 for 4 against Wareham, but he shoots one into left field, and that's going to land for a base hit. Well in front of Austin Langworthy, and Adam Oviedo picks up right where he left off last night. And he has a single to make it 4-0.
How about this from Cotuit? Already 7 hits in just 2 2/3 innings, and 6 different Kettleers have a base knock. Nobody has more than a single as well. Robleski hasn't given up any doubles, triples, home runs.
It was a couple of lucky bounces for the first couple of hits, but now since then they've started to tag him harder and harder with each pitch. First pitch to Williams is a bloop shot into shallow left center field. Blake Dunn coming in. He'll call for it, and he will make the catch for out number 3. The Kettleers tack on another. They score 1 run on 3 hits. No errors against the Doors, and 2 runners left on the base paths. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 3rd inning on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field. The Falmouth Commodores trailing the Cotuit Kettleers by a score of 4-0, getting out hit 7-1. We're only in the bottom of the third inning, so the Doors have their work cut out for them against Trey Holland.
They definitely do, and already a reliever getting loose for Cotuit, and it's one of their better ones. Bo Hofstra from Purdue is getting warm on the Cotuit side, and he's been pretty awesome this summer. Cotuit, not a ton of arms to throw out of the pen, but Hofstra's been one of the more reliable ones. Gone 15 2/3 innings of work this summer with 20 strikeouts.
Hayden Cantrell will lead off for Falmouth. First pitch to the switch hitter is lined foul. Cantrell grounded out to short in his last AB. Last night went 1 for 5, singled in his first time up in the first, scored a run, and then his last time up, he reached on an error. Holland's 0-1, fastball way outside. The soft-tossing lefty Holland doesn't have a very high pitch count at only 38 through 2 innings. Higher than they would probably like it to be. Ground ball goes foul towards the Cotuit side to make it 1-2.
Cotuit's going to rely on their offense to try to win them this series and the next one. It's no secret that their pitching staff is nothing too special with a 4.12 ERA. That's 7th in the league. All those walks that we mentioned.
1-2 on the outside corner, strike 3 called. That was a big pullback by the catcher Cody Pasek to get the frame, and Hayden Cantrell really didn't like it.
Yeah, really frustrated with that call. He got an outside pitch called against him in the first inning. Same sort of thing happens here in the third, but going back to my point, Cotuit's going to just try to piece it together as far as pitching. They'll use 3, 4, 5 different relievers for an inning or two of work and just try to do enough to edge them out.
First pitch to Blake Dunn, a breaking ball at 67 miles per hour. That's looped foul. Dunn flew out to center field in his previous at-bat. First 2 guys in the first inning were put down. Next 2 guys got on base, but the Doors couldn't get a 2-out rally going. Mervis at third, playing in on the grass, expecting bunt, but so far, Dunn's not showing it. Entire infield is playing pretty far in, except for the shortstop Oviedo. Interesting alignment from Mike Roberts, who continues to stand right outside that dugout, giving them orders. Blake Dunn, 4 for 11, now 4 for 12 after his flyout, so a pretty solid postseason for him so far. And he really tore up Cotuit. 2-1 on the outside corner. In his 6 games played against the Kettleers, he hit .409, racked up a pair of RBIs, and stole 5 bases.
Yeah, I remember it was those back-to-back games on July 3rd and 4th where he really popped off.
2-2 on the outside corner, strike 3 called again. Same spot that punched out Cantrell, and Dunn saying it's in the left-handed batter's box, and he might have a point.
Yeah, when back-to-back batters have the same gripe, you know that it might be a trend, to put it lightly, as Cantrell and Dunn were punched out on the exact same pitch. A little bit off that outside black to the righty.
First pitch to Zach DeLoach, outside corner for strike 1. If I'm just trying to be objective here, those looked like they were a good, half a bat length off the outside corner. But now the Doors know the strike zone. It's ingrained into their minds. 0-1 misses down and in.
Yeah, and that's all you can control, right? You can't control the balls and strikes calls, so you just have to adjust. And Cantrell did a really good job of that in the first at-bat. Doors have to take that going forward.
1-1 to DeLoach, swung on and missed. So far this top of the lineup, not able to do much. Zach did get a hit. He's the lone Commodore to reach base with a single. But otherwise, Cantrell and Dunn a combined 0 for 4. 1-2 count to the Cape League leader, in average. The pitch, just low.
He's got the only hit for Falmouth in this game.
Trey Holland is looking pretty solid for a guy who can't hit further than 83. The Doors might not know what they got themselves into. 1-2, lined right back towards short. Oviedo catches it on a line, they say. Not a scoop. Instead, it's a line out. The Doors go down 1-2-3 for the first time in this ball game, and so far it's been all Cotuit scoring 4 runs on their 7 hits.
Yeah, not much going for the Doors right now. You hope maybe you have more luck when you go to a reliever, because just 1 hit in their first 12 batters. Commodores looking a little bit stagnant, and the pitching has struggled a little bit.
For a little more, let's welcome in the third member of our broadcast crew, Katie Florio. Katie.
Thanks, guys. And as the summer has gone on, Justin Robleski had really progressed. So before the game, I asked pitching coach Mike Landry what it would take for Justin to contain such a good team offensively. He said it's all about incorporating a mix of good pitches and attacking the strike zone early. And guys, down 4-0 early, but now it's about how Falmouth responds. We knew Cotuit was going to hit the ball, so it's up to them. And this is because this is their first time going down early in playoffs.
Thank you, Katie. This is the biggest deficit that the Doors have faced in the playoffs so far. They only lost by 2 to Bourne and otherwise never trailed Bourne in Games 1 or in Game 3. So it's kind of new territory for the Commodores, although they were the comeback kids throughout a lot of the regular season.
Right, and I go back to that game on July 30th. I know that Cotuit knew where they were in the standings. I know that Falmouth did as well, but they were down 3-1, 4-2, 4-3. They claw back, tie it up 4-4. Matt Nelson had a big home run in that game. They end up winning 6-4. Again, I said it in the pregame show. I think that most of these games, you're going to see 5 to 8 runs for each team. Falmouth still could tack on plenty. It's only the first third of the game that's gone.
Still plenty of baseball to be played, but for now, it will be a new pitcher for the Commodores. Luke Sutko is going to see his first appearance of the postseason, a guy who only pitched in 1 game prior to this.
Sutko from Mercer University pitched in that game against Wareham on August 1st. That was the definition of a throwaway game. It was game 44. Wareham and Falmouth were resting all their guys. Sutko, he's got that really low arm slot as a right-handed pitcher, pitched an inning and 2/3, gave up 3 runs, but none of them were earned. 4 base knocks, a walk, and 2 Ks.
So Sutko from Mercer will get to go up against these Cotuit batters, starting with 9-1 and 2. Cody Pasek, Nick Gonzalez, and Matt Mervis. Pasek, his first time up, walked. He was stranded on second base. It's going to be a righty-lefty matchup. A righty side armor, we'll call him, in Sutko. Will allow Pasek to see the ball pretty well. Justin Robleski capping off his outing. 3 innings of work, allowing 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. So after a couple of pretty fine outings from Robleski in the latter half of the summer, doesn't look the same.
Yeah, and you're okay with that run output, but if he's going 5 innings, you don't want to see that in 3.
1-0 misses outside, and Sutko, who struggled in his last outing, not in the first inning, but in the second inning that he worked, so far fires 2 balls. Here's the 2-0, right down the middle.
Sutko from Woodstock, Georgia, transferred from St. John's River State. He'll be at Mercer next year.
That one called a ball. Looked like it was good enough for strike number 2, but instead it's now a 3-1 count for Pasek. Sutko from the stretch with nobody on base. Fires the pitch. It's grounded over towards the Falmouth bullpen.
And Cotuit getting out to that early lead has really taken some of the energy out of this crowd and out of the dugout. More quiet than we usually see it, and you got to think if the score was reversed, this crowd would be loud and into it.
Right. Payoff pitch. Just misses the outside corner. Not sure where that one missed, maybe a couple inches off, and Pasek will have his second walk in as many tries.
So 0 for 0 to start his night is Pasek. He's done really well in the postseason so far with a .429 batting average, a double, a home run, 4 RBIs. A native of Cotuit, so playing for his hometown team this summer.
Now it's Nick Gonzalez getting already his 3rd at-bat in the 4th inning. First pitch swinging, bounces it foul. And you obviously don't want to put many guys on the opposing team up to the plate a lot because it would mean that they're doing well offensively. But specifically when it's Gonzalez, you want to limit his at-bats as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely, because he's just like a cannon waiting to pop.
Extended his 11-game hitting streak into 12 his last time up with an infield single. Watches a pitch that misses just high. He's 1 for 2 after striking out in the first inning. You brought it up last inning, but that first really looked like it was going to be smooth sailing for Robleski. Instead, he's already out of the game in the 4th. Doors warming up another righty. It's Bradley Littleton, just in case Sutko can't get out of the inning.
And Mike Landry might be using each of these guys for 1 inning. You could definitely see Sutko, Littleton, and then maybe a different reliever in 6 and 7.
1-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. Looked like a slider from Sutko, and he's got Gonzalez swinging for the 2nd time in this ballgame.
And that's a bad strikeout from Gonzalez. He was really frustrated with himself on that late-breaking slider. It landed way out of the zone in the left-handed batter's box, and Gonzalez clearly frustrated with himself heading back to the dugout.
Gonzalez only had 1 strikeout in his previous 5 games played, now has 2 in this one. First pitch to Matt Mervis, outside corner for a strike. Mervis hit .325 this summer. That's up quite a bit from his junior year, at Duke, where he hit .274. 0-1. Tapper slowly up the third base line, and that one will fall foul.
Mercifully falling foul for Falmouth, because that would have been a really tough play to make over at first base.
Mervis also sheared his bat. That's a very weird broken bat we're seeing. The bat boy was peeling off a shaving of it practically.
Right.
So Mervis is going to go back towards that third base dugout, get some new wood, and when he gets back into the left-handed batter's box, it's going to be 0-2 against him. So far, he's flown out to 2 separate positions, center field and then left field. To the third baseman. On an 8 for his last 20 stretch entering the ball game, but now he's 0 for 3. Watches a fastball in the outside corner, a 3-pitch strikeout for Sutko against Mervis, and he's got back-to-back Ks against the top 2 men in this lineup.
And Mervis, similar to Cantrell and Dunn in the last half inning, was upset with that call. Thought it was off the plate, and that's the first time that we've seen a lefty upset with it. It's usually been called to righties.
Raj Anu, 1 for 2 with a single, watches a pitch well outside.
And the thing that's tough for Sutko is with that low arm slot, he's trying to establish that left side of the plate. So if it's being called for a ball, that's where he tries to place his fastball.
Swing and a miss on a heater at 86 miles an hour. Anu only had a .182 batting average against the Commodores throughout the regular season, 1 home run and 1 RBI. Here's the pitch, misses low. Against lefties, a little bit better, .235, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. He was able to get to the lefty Robleski in the 3rd inning and came around to score. 2 outs and a runner on first. Sutko from the stretch, kicks and deals. Another swing and a miss on a pitch well below the knees.
Yeah, he went with that same pitch that was called for a ball on the 3rd pitch of the at-bat. He's trying to get the swing from Anu, goes back to it, and has better luck on the 2nd try.
Mirage now 5 for 12 in these playoffs. 2-2. Just misses. Count now full with Casey Schmidt on deck. Schmidt had a single as well, and it's this middle of the lineup that has really been beating up Falmouth pitching. 3, 4, and 5, as you'd expect. Payoff pitch. Ground ball towards first. Tough play for Jackson Coots, but he stays with it, and he'll tag the bag himself. It's the first time that the Doors have not allowed a run since the first inning. Cotuit scores no runs on no hits, no errors, and strand a runner on first base. When we come back, heart of the order, or excuse me, Trey Cruz, the cleanup man, will lead off for Falmouth.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians, expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Only one hit allowed by Trey Holland and 6 straight retired. He'll come back out on the rubber for the bottom of the 4th inning with a 4-0 lead over the hometown Commodores. Game 1 of the Western Division Final between the Kettleers and the Doors, 2 teams who went 3 games in round 1. Falmouth won 8-2 yesterday over Bourne. Cotuit won 4-1 yesterday over Wareham. Trey Cruz set to lead off. He walked his first time up. First pitch to the switch hitter batting righty is taken on the outside corner for a strike. That outside corner to righties has been very big. Commodores have been punched out a couple of times on it. Here's the 0-1, same spot. Pop up into foul territory along the first base side. Cody Pasek will make the catch just in front of the Falmouth dugout. 2 pitches and already an out.
Not what the doctor ordered in the last 10 batters for Falmouth. Only 2 base runners and no hits. Cruz and Claunch reached on walks, but that's been it.
Here comes Jackson Coots, who has been red hot these past couple of weeks. On a stretch where he was 4 for his last 8 entering the ball game, but grounded out to the pitcher his last time up. He watches a pitch up and in. That ground out ended the first inning. It was on a check swing. 1-0 from Holland. Inside, blasted into center field, but that one is playable for Williams. 2 up, 2 down on only 4 pitches.
And the tough thing is, it seems like Holland works a lot of pop-out and flyouts. Not many ground balls. Only 3 so far in this game that have been groundouts.
Troy Claunch, who led off the second inning, will now try to not make the final out of the 4th. He led off with a walk, but couldn't move a base. This pitch misses down and away to the catcher. He went 2 for 2, had a pair of walks and an RBI versus Cotuit on July 31st. One of those games in the doubleheader. 1-0, misses down, now 2-0, and it seems like Troy, for whatever reason, always watching a lot of balls from Kettleers pitching.
Yeah, I mean, it's working right now. You got to get base runners any way you can. Almost halfway through this game already.
He only had 5 walks on the summer. 2 of them coming against Cotuit in that one ball game, as we mentioned. 2-0 outside black for a strike.
And you got to get the crowd into it in some way. An extra base hit, a single, anything. This place is packed, and you got to use that to your advantage.
Here's the 2-1. misses outside. This place has been absolutely silent since pretty much top of the second inning. First inning, they were rowdy. Robleski got them up and going, but then it all fell apart. Here's the 3-1. It's a line drive into right field for a base hit. Only the second hit of the ball game for the Commodores, and it comes with 2 outs.
Designated hitter from Georgia Tech, number 44, Baron Radcliffe.
Claunch, nice piece of hitting. Outside part of the plate. He knows it's been called a strike, much to the chagrin of Cantrell and Dunn, but he just slaps the head of the bat on it, pokes it out into right field.
He didn't try to do too much with it, and he earns himself first base. Here's Baron Radcliffe. First pitch to the big lefty is a huge hack, but he comes up empty.
Yeah, and Holland is just keeping everything down and off speed to Radcliffe, which is a really good strategy. Radcliffe, a guy who likes to swing for the fences on top of the off speed.
He had 6 home runs during the regular season as the 0-1 tags the inside corner. Barron now taking a long walk out of the batter's box, looking back towards that dugout, and I'm sure Dunn and Cantrell just nodding their heads to him. 0-2 the count to Radcliffe. Holland's offering. Down and in, and he fights it off.
Radcliffe has had struggles against lefties this summer. So far, just 1 hit against left-handed pitchers.
Count remains 0-2 with Claunch at first. We'll try it again. The pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. 71-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch has Radcliffe down on strikes for the second time in as many at-bats. The Doors get their first hit since the first inning, but they do not score him. No errors committed by Cotuit, and 1 runner left on base for Falmouth. We'll go to the top of the 5th inning, still 4-0 in favor of the Kettleers.
National program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday. Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Sutko back out at the mound for the top of the 5th inning. He'll have to face 4, 5, and 6 in this Cotuit lineup, which has been red hot. Casey Schmidt will lead off. He's 1 for 2, followed by Colton Kessler, 2 for 2. Then Parker Chavers, 1 for 2 with a ribby.
Yeah, the only spots in the Cotuit batting order without a hit are 2, 8, and 9. 3 through 7 have been awesome. Combined for 6 of the 7 hits and 3 of the 4 runs.
So Schmidt, who was the hero last night for Cotuit, on the mound. Back up to the plate for his 3rd time around. First pitch from Sutko. Shows bunt. Takes it for a ball way outside. Luke threw 19 pitches in his lone inning of work so far. It was the 4th and the first inning where the Doors did not allow a run since the first inning. That pitch misses outside again. A couple of sliders that are breaking too far.
We saw a couple relievers getting loose for Cotuit, but they're going to ride Holland into the bottom of the 5th, and why not?
Here's the 2-0. Lined back into the fence.
Schmidt was outstanding his freshman year at San Diego State, freshman All-American. He's the first Aztec from San Diego State to get that honor since Steven Strasburg.
Pretty good company to be in.
Not bad.
2-1. Shows bunt again, pulls it back again. He's trying to get that bunt hit, but so far hasn't really gotten anything good to pitch. Good to hit, pardon me.
Yeah, Sutko shaking his head in a little bit of frustration. Fastball's either missing way outside to the righty or inside.
Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss on a beautiful breaking ball. Schmidt had only a 143 batting average against the Commodores during the regular season. He was only 3 for his last 21 entering this ball game too. Here's a fastball that's fouled away. He's batting .500 in Game 1 of the Western Division Final, however. Many of these Kettleers are. They've put up 7 hits compared to Falmouth's 2. Sutko looks in towards Claunch. Another 3-2 waiting in the wings. The pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. 80-mile-an-hour off-speed breaking ball gets Schmidt, and he's a strikeout victim for the first out of the 5th inning.
It's tough enough as is to label off-speed pitches from our vantage point, but with Sutko's low arm slot, I feel like it's even harder. I think that was a changeup because the slider really breaks far to the outside. But that changeup just kind of dying as it came across the middle of the plate. A nice pitch from Sutko. He wants to keep the pace going. He looks to Claunch and he says, let's go.
Colton Kessler is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles and a run scored so far. So he's been pretty solid for Cotuit as he watches a first pitch miss up and away. Colton from the University of Kentucky, originally from Missouri. Lines one towards the left side, but it dives just foul. Looked like it was in fair play until it about reached the base and then took another skip left.
Yeah, and again, a little bit lucky for Falmouth because Moretta would have had a really tough time fielding that and throwing way across the diamond. He probably would have been in foul territory.
Kessler only a 138 average throughout the summer, but so far in the postseason he's 5 for 11. Here's the pitch. It misses down and in.
A lot of Kentucky Wildcats on this team.
Yeah.
Kessler, one of them. Listed as a catcher, but he's DHing tonight.
Yeah, they're getting Cody Pasek to be the man behind the plate. He's been brilliant defensively. Here's the 2-1. Bell tie for a strike.
Yeah, Pasek's been great defensively and maybe even more at the plate. That .429 batting average so far in the playoffs.
Kettleers have gotten a boon from a couple of their bats who weren't really all that productive during the regular season, but have really come on in the playoffs. Here's the 2-2. It's lifted into center field. Shallow enough for Dunn to camp underneath it and make the catch. 2 up, 2 down in the 5th.
Sutko's really starting to find the zone. He was wild in his first at-bat against Pasek, missing way outside. And, you know, I make the comparison to Franco Aleman from last night. And Aleman, when he misses by an inch or two. Sutko and some of these other relievers a little bit more wild, but he's starting to bring it in so that his balls are just off the plate. Makes it much tougher for hitters.
His first pitch to Parker Chavers is also popped up, this time towards the shortstop Trey Cruz. He'll make the catch for the final out of the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Kettleers for the first time since the first frame. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Cotuit 4, Falmouth 0 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Urgent Care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Bottom of the fifth, and it's still going to be Trey Holland on the bump for Cotuit, and why not? He has been spectacular, has only allowed 2 hits, has walked a couple as well, but no more than 5 Commodores have reached the plate in any one inning.
Yeah, we can't knock the MPH when he's pitching 4 shutout innings in the playoffs, right? Giving up only 2 hits and 2 walks. Falmouth just has to make the adjustment. I thought coming into this game, okay, second time against him, you know to sit back, you've seen him before. I feel like innings 1 and 2 would be like those later innings against him back on July 30th, but clearly he keeps spicing it up and keeping these hitters on their toes.
First pitch to Steven Moretto is taken on the outside corner, so says Mark Piantadosi. No balls and 1 strike to the third baseman from Sacramento State. Infield again playing weirdly in. The right side is pretty far in, the left side about halfway on the dirt. We saw Matt Mervis playing up on the grass, expecting potentially a Moretto bunt. He's not tried to bunt for a hit all summer long. Kettleers 1-1. Breaking ball, cut on and miss. That's a beauty.
67 on the gun, and man, these doors are just way ahead of it because Moretto was sitting off speed there, and he waited to start his swing, but he was still ahead of it.
Tough to line it up when you probably haven't seen 67 in a couple years. Here's the 1-2, another breaking ball, this time fouled off his front foot. Again, I'm going to bring up the positioning of these Kettleers. Look at Adam Oviedo over at short. He's creating a huge hole between the left/middle of the infield.
Yeah, and that shows that Mike Roberts thinks that Moretto's going to pull this ball, be ahead of it. He flew out to left field his last time up, so Roberts making the adjustment.
Here's the 1-2 again. Up and in, count even. Stevens struggled versus the Kettleers throughout the summer. 1 for 16, 3 walks and 6 Ks against him. 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Another K racked up for Trey Holland. That's his 5th of the ball game and the first out of this inning.
And Holland really wasn't K'ing up the doors that much in that start back on July 30th. He had only 2 strikeouts, 5 hits, a walk, and 3 earned runs. It's been even better tonight. In that game, he threw 67 pitches. He's already at 70.
Austin Langworthy, first pitch swinging, pops one up behind home plate. Cody Pasek tosses the mask, and he'll come down with the catch in foul territory again. 2 up, 2 down.
And these big gaps in my scorecard are not what the Commodores want. As you said, no more than 5 batters in an inning. Only 1 runner in scoring position back in the first.
They're back to the top of the lineup, so this will be the 3rd time through against Trey Holland. We'll see if they can make any adjustments. First pitch is a fastball that tags the outside black.
You got to be careful here if you're Cantrell. You know that those outside pitches have been called strikes.
0-1, same spot but in the dirt.
And not only that, but his frustration was definitely noted by Piantadosi, so you just got to put your head down and swing at anything even close.
1-1 is lined into right center field. That one is falling, and it will reach the glove of the right fielder, Iraj Anu. Looked like it could have been a double, but Anu showing off the wheels. He reels it in, and Cantrell falls to 0 for 3. The doors go down in order here in the 5th. We'll be back for the top of the 6th inning right after this on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
Top of the 6th inning. Commodores trail the Kettleers 4-0, and Brad Littleton is going to come onto the mound trying to hold Cotuit at bay.
So Sutko wears number 35, pitched 2 innings of shutout baseball. Littleton wears number 34, trying to do the same. 1.68 ERA in 5 1/3 innings of work, 1 walk to 7 strikeouts. I think that most impressive outing was back against Wareham. 2 innings of scoreless baseball, 3 hits allowed, but no walks and 3 Ks.
How about the job done by Luke Sutko, though?
That is big.
Huge spot in middle relief in a game where Cotuit was starting to steamroll a little bit, picking up speed. It looked like they were going to keep on tacking runs, but Luke Sutko comes in. In his 2 innings of work, he only faced 1 over the minimum. That was thanks to a walk, not even a hit, and he struck out 3.
And when you think of the best relievers on this Commodores team, you think of guys like Aiden Maldonado, Tyler Ross, Sam Weatherly, obviously Zach Brixey and Logan Hoffman, a couple of the best pitchers in relief.
First pitch Littleton throws is a ball.
But they can't throw those 6 guys every game in the playoffs.
Right.
They're going to need to lean on these back half, if you will, relievers. And Sutko and Littleton, 2 of those who are going to have to get the job done in game 1.
His 1-0 just misses a touch inside. Adam Oviedo so far, 1 for 1. Sacrifice fly his first time up, and RBI single his last time up. He's now doubled his RBI output on the playoffs. Ground ball over towards third. Tough play for Moretto. A nice scoop. His throw to first on the run and in time. Beautifully done by Steven Moretto. First out of the 6th inning.
And balls like that are some of the toughest ground balls that can be hit in the infield. High chopper in between third base and short. Because if you're the shortstop, you can either sit back on it, you have to field it perfectly, and then get a quick transfer and a quick throw, or you can take a risky play as the third baseman and try to scoop it, throw on the run. That's exactly what Moretto did.
Here's Dante Williams. Center fielder is 0 for 2. First pitch swinging, ropes one back through the middle. It's a base hit.
And again, Danny, know where 15 is in the order. He's up after Cody Pasek. If you're Littleton, you a double play here to get you out of the inning and get Gonzalez up with nobody out and the bases clear in the 7th. Otherwise, if Pasek gets a ground ball or extends Williams, you get a runner in scoring position with the best hitter in the Cape Cod League coming up next.
And Williams has plenty of speed as well. He is running on the first pitch, but it's a swing and a foul back by Cody Pasek. Right as I said it, Williams, a guy who had 2 stolen bases on the summer, but back in the 2nd inning when he reached base, he was on first, got to second thanks to an error by Claunch, who was trying to backpick him because he was taking too big of a lead, and then he stole third without even a throw. 0-1 the count to the lefty from Maine, who's walked both his times at the plate. Littleton kicks and deals. This time Williams stays put, but he misses high. Pasek with 1 home run and 4 ribbies on the playoffs so far. And again, Nick Gonzalez waits right behind him with a chance to rack up a couple. Couple more relievers warming up for Falmouth. They've got Sean Mullen tossing, Logan Hoffman standing there, Caleb Worcester walking around. So any one of those three, take your guess. Here's the 1-1. Williams running again. It's a chopper over towards first. Great play made by Jackson Coots, and back to first he goes. 3 unassisted on the putout. They can't get the lead runner, but that might have just saved a run.
What a huge play for the second out. What a difference between runner on second and 2 outs, and possibly runners on the corners and 1 out.
Yep.
Leaping, Jackson Coots shows off the vert, gets off of first base, and then immediately plants his feet and runs back to the bag for the second out. Unreal.
That saves a run, not because that ground ball would have meant Williams scores all the way from first, but because if he's on third base and you've got less than 2 outs, and a fly ball can bring him home. Still got to be careful with Nick Gonzalez at the plate as he shoots one right back through the middle, and this will probably score Williams. He rounds third. The throw into the plate will be cut off. And it doesn't matter as Cotuit scores their 5th run anyway, thanks to Nick Gonzalez's RBI.
There it is. Gonzalez with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Coming into the game, .383 batting average in that situation. And he ups the average here in the playoffs. Now 2 for 4 with an RBI. Best hitter on the Cape for a reason. And he and Williams both swinging first pitch, expecting fastball, putting it right back up the middle.
He's now 2 for 4, and he is just so ridiculous. He was the best hitter in the country this past spring. Led the entire Division I in batting average, and he was just a couple points behind Zach DeLoach in average this summer. But it seems like every single at-bat, he's attacking the first pitch, and he's hitting it into the outfield.
You can't let up here if you're Littleton. Mervis is dangerous as well.
He's got a lot of power in that big frame as he watches a ball miss inside. Mervis, a .325 average on the summer, had 24 RBIs and 4 dingers. This is a Cotuit team that hit 37 during the regular season. 1-0, swing and a miss. 5 runs home for the Kettleers on 9 hits, and they haven't committed an error. Meanwhile, Falmouth, no runs on only 2 hits and an error against them. It's been all Cotuit since the 2nd inning. Here's a slice into the left field crowd. 1-2 now to Mervis, who's already 0 for 3. Mervis 5 for 18 in these playoffs with 5 RBIs. He's got Gonzalez on first, who's got a good amount of speed, taking a decent-sized lead.
Yeah, those 5 RBIs tied for the team lead for Cotuit. Mervis going to be a senior next year at Duke. He's got a big frame as well, 6'4", 225.
Brad's 1-2. Breaking ball that is cranked into deep right field, but Zach DeLoach is there to make the catch. Loud contact off the bat, but completely died once it reached the outfield, and that's the final out of the 6th inning. Cotuit scores 1 run on 2 hits, no errors against Falmouth, and they strand a runner on base. When we go to the bottom of the 6th, it'll be Blake Dunn leading off for the Commodores.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options. The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Bottom of the sixth about to get underway. Blake Dunn leading off for the Doors, followed by Zach Deloach and Trey Cruz. 2, 3, and 4 in this lineup, who have been held pretty quiet. Dunn 0 for 2, Deloach 1 for 2, Cruz 0 for 1. Last time up, Blake watched a pitch that was, to his mind, pretty far off the outside part of the plate, but he was punched out for strike 3 and had some words for the home plate umpire, Mark Piantadosi. His first time up was a fly out to center that he got pretty good wood on. Here's the first pitch of the inning. It's a ball well outside. Dunn, a first-team All-Max selection in 2019, a Western Michigan Bronco who hit .374. Floats one into right field. Easy play for Anu, who goes over to his right and makes the catch. Dunn retired on 2 pitches.
We weren't able to talk about it because we were going to an inning break, but how about that catch from Anu to end the 5th inning? Off the bat, you thought it's a double into the gap in right center, but Anu gets a great jump on it, fields it on the run, out in deep right field.
Here comes Zach Deloach, who has half of the Commodores' hits in this ball game. It was a single back in the first inning, came with 2 outs and nobody on, and he was stranded on second. He swings the first pitch here and pounds it foul. Deloach now with a 9-game hitting streak and hits in 11 of his last 12. So even though the Doors pretty stagnant offensively in this ball game, Deloach continues to put up great numbers. The 0-1. Checks his swing, but he definitely goes around. Trey Holland just seems to have this lineup in fits.
Yeah, definitely. And it must be so frustrating for these guys who put up 8 runs last night on a guy who throws in the 90s, and they get 8 hits, 2 home runs, and then all of a sudden they come out today and can only muster out 2 hits through 5+ innings.
Here's the 0-2. Ground ball, right side. That one's going to get through the hole and into center field. Another single for Zach Deloach, and this time he beats the shift.
And that's how you're going to get base hits if you're the Commodores. It's going to be into the gap between 4 and 3, like Troy Clonch. I don't even know if they can go yard off this guy, honestly. Right. And you see Hayden Cantrell get great wood on the bat and crush it out to the gap in right center. But the fact that it's so slow out of the hand and so slow off the bat means Anu can get to it and track it. I think you're better off trying to get some base knocks and not half swing, but don't try to kill the ball.
There's a full swing with Trey Cruz trying to kill the ball on an outside pitch. He comes up empty, 0-1 to the shortstop. Trey walked and popped out. His last time up was only 2 pitches. Here's the 0-1 from Holland. A fastball tipped into the mitt. Holland jumping out of these hitters with first pitch strikes galore. It's been a while since there's been a 3-ball count for the Doors. Last time they walked was back in the 2nd inning. That's huge for Cotuit as well, a team that had the 2nd most walks on the Cape throughout the regular season. Cruz was 8 for 17. That's a .471 average against the Kettleers throughout the regular season. Trying to tap back into that success. 1-2, well off the plate. Jackson Coots stands on deck, 0 for 2. It's rare that Jackson usually sports an 0 for. Here's the pitch. Outside part of the plate, and a good defensive swing by Cruz to fight it off foul.
Just got to sit back. We talked about it with Cruz and Deloach, but that's the number one thing you have to do. Just wait an extra half second, wait an extra beat, and then start your swing. Easier said than done, though.
Now those outside pitches got to be real careful because that outside zone to righties has been called pretty frequently by Piantadosi. We'll try again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Holland taking his time, lifts and delivers. Misses outside. He's trying to hit that same spot.
Doors sensing a little bit of life here with less than 2 down and a runner on. Last time they had a base runner, there were 2 outs.
Here's the payoff pitch. Deloach is running. Cruz swings as he pops it up into the infield. That's going to be Gonzalez calling for it. Now they're going to not go back to first as Nick drops the ball on the transfer. It is an out on another pop-up against Cruz, but Deloach gets back to the base in time.
Now batting the first baseman from the University of Rhode Island.
Kind of an awkward play, not one you see every day, as Deloach was about 2 feet away from touching second base, and he had to put the brakes on because he heard up. Has to run back and almost got doubled up.
So now it'll be Jackson Coots, a ground-out victim and a fly-out victim. Jackson entered this game 4 for his last 8 and 5 for 12 on the playoffs. That 0 brings him back to 5 for 14, a little further back down to earth. He was right around that against Cotuit throughout the regular season, 5 for 13 against them. First pitch from Holland, taken too far inside. Coots also has hits in 4 of his last 5 and RBIs in 7 of his last 8. Wasn't the everyday starter at first base until about a week ago, but he has really secured that spot as he comes up empty on a big breaker.
And it's not often that you see him looking like he's swinging out of his shoes.
Yep.
But that's what it just looked like. And the toughest thing about this is these guys are probably so on edge and tense at the plate, but that's kind of hurting them.
Here's a pickoff move over to first, and they've got Deloach out by a mile. He slides headfirst right into the tag of Oviedo, and Trey Holland is just running roughshod through this Falmouth lineup currently as the Doors go down in semi-order.
Right.
Only 3 batters reach the plate. Coots is left at the plate thanks to the pickoff, and the Doors score no runs on the 1 hit and no errors, and not much going right for Falmouth right now.
It's just a frustrating game. That's the one word that pops to mind. But I'm wondering what the team's thinking in the dugout right now and how they can adjust.
Well, Coach Trundy is standing by with our own Katie Florio to answer some of those questions. Katie.
Thanks, guys. And Coach, we knew going into this series the bats needed to be hot to compete with Cotuit's offense, but what have you seen from their starter, Holland, that has made him so effective tonight?
Well, he's just throwing a lot of off-speed stuff that's got our guys off balance, and it makes it tough. I mean, it's a tough thing on hitters, and we just got to keep trying to find an approach that's going to work. I don't know how much longer he's going to go, but we still got some time to work with, and as I've said before, these kids have competed all year long, so I know they're going to continue to give us their best.
Like you said, you still have some time left. What is the message to keep the energy up and the hopes alive throughout the rest of this game?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just to put, some good at-bats together and, hold them where they are. And, all of a sudden you get a couple runs and it becomes interesting and the momentum shifts a little bit. So that's what we need.
Thank you, Coach. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Coach Trundy, for that. So what he's saying is pretty much the off-speed pitches, like obviously everybody,
all of them.
everyone can tell, is keeping the Doors off balance.
Yeah, exactly. And they just got to hope to get it to the bullpen.
Right.
I mean, I think Hofstra's coming in the next inning. It looks like he's doing a longer bullpen session right now than he was doing earlier in the game. But smart move by Roberts to ride Holland absolutely as long as he can go.
He rode him for 6 innings, and that is huge for the Kettleers. As again, a team that has played in a 3-game series, just like the Doors, you want to save your bullpen as much as possible, and Trey Holland buys him that. Araj Anu is now going to lead off for Cotuit. It's the heart of the order: Anu, Schmidt, and Kessler, 3, 4, and 5. They're combined 4 for 9 in this ball game. Anu swings the first pitch and taps it foul up the first base side. He's 1 for 3, had an RBI single back in the 3rd.
Holland should be done. 87 pitches.
0-1 from Littleton, misses up and away. Felt like he threw less than that. I don't know why.
87.
Didn't have a lot of 3-ball counts after the first couple of innings.
Yeah. I mean, that's That's less than 15 pitches an inning, so those are quick innings of work.
1-1 chopper through the middle, and that perfectly splits Cantrell and Cruz, as Cotuit again has a soft single.
And all three singles that Littleton has let up have been back up the middle. So he's trusting his defense, and grounders are going in play, just not able to be fielded by the middle infield.
Cotuit now with those three singles against Littleton, like you said, all up the middle, so they're squaring him pretty well. Here's Casey Schmidt, 1 for 3 with a run scored. First pitch to him is grounded towards short. This could be 2. Cruz onto Cantrell for 1, onto first, double play, and that is huge. Big momentum swing for the Commodores, as on one pitch they get 2 outs and clear the bases.
Yeah, they need that one, no doubt about it. Get it back to the bats quickly, and hopefully a reliever's on the mound for Cotuit. 5 runs over 3 innings. Like Trendy said, you got to keep it there if you're Brad Littleton. You can't let this deficit get any larger.
He'll have to get through Colton Kessler first, who's 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. The lefty DH from the University of Kentucky. Now with 5 hits in these playoffs. First pitch swinging, lines it foul. Littleton from the windup. Rocks and fires the 0-1. Breaking ball misses up and away. We've seen that pitch sit in that spot to a lot of lefties.
Yeah, Sutko and Littleton, 2 right-handed arms. Sutko with a much lower arm slot, but they're both missing outside to left-handed batters.
1-1. Same spot, but a little bit lower. Called for a strike, and Kessler doesn't like it. Robleski went 3 innings, Sutko went 2 innings, and Littleton, with a strike here, would go 2 himself. Here's the pitch. Ground ball towards short, takes a funky hop off the mound, but that probably helped out Trey Cruz, as he's able to make a much easier play, throw on to first base in time for the final out of the top of the 7th. Cotuit scores no runs on 1 hit, but a double play erases him. No errors and nobody left on base. It's stretch time at the Gov, 5-0 in favor of the Kettleers.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Bad news for the Commodores. It's still Trey Holland on the bump, the guy who has kept these bats silent all game long. Doors with no runs and only 3 hits against Holland, who's up to 87 pitches, but has a chance to go a strong 7 and keep this win and 5-run lead intact.
Yeah, rubber arm and probably not too much wear and tear on that elbow.
First pitch swinging is Coots as he shoots one into center field for a base hit. So just like that, Jackson says, enough of this. I'm going to take my base.
Yeah, there you go. Jackson Coots' 6th hit of the postseason. Trails only Zach DeLoach, and he's been awesome at that 5 spot. And this should do it because Roberts has Hofstra ready.
The Cotuit dugout lining up outside the gate, and it looks like Hofstra is going to come in. So it'll only took one pitch and a single from Jackson Coots in the 7th inning to finally end Trey Holland's day. They're going to the righty from Purdue. We'll be right back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Trey Holland was magnificent. Through 6 innings, he kept the Doors at bay, scoring no runs and tagging only 4 hits. But after the 4th hit was plunked by Jackson Coots in this 7th inning, Mike Roberts is going to go to his pen.
Yeah, Bo Hofstra, 6'5", right-hander, stands at that mighty stature that I mentioned, also 240 pounds. 6.31 ERA in the regular season with a 4-1 record. 1 save and 15 2/3 innings of work. In the playoffs, he went 1 1/3 against Wareham in Game 1, gave up 1 earned run after walking a couple and giving up 1 hit. Commodores hoping that they can time him up better and take advantage of this first base runner in Jackson Coots.
He racked up a W against the Doors on July 10th in a perfect 2 innings where he only allowed a hit. Pair of walks, but it was scoreless. That was a 6-1 win for Cotuit. Troy Clonch will now saunter up to the plate. He has one of those 4 hits for Falmouth. 1 for 1 with a walk and a single in the 4th. He's got Coots on first base, not much of a threat to steal. Middle infield at double play depth, and Mervis, interestingly enough, playing in on the grass for a potential bunt. But with the Doors down 5, I find that hard to believe. Here's the first pitch of the outing from Hofstra, right down the middle, off the end of the bat from Clonch and back into the screen.
Never in Troy Clonch's life has he been more happy to see 91.
91 on the gun from Hofstra is a good 12 miles an hour faster than anything we saw from Holland. That pitch misses down and away. But now it's a new adjustment. Now it's,
right.
Okay, we got used to the 67,
but they
70.
didn't really get used to it. That's
True.
the thing.
Here's the 1-1 offering. Misses up and away. Still, there's a little bit of a...
I hear you. You got to go from slowing down to speeding back up, but you've been seeing this MPH for the whole summer. I don't think it's too much of a switch to flip.
Troy 2 for 10 during these playoffs. Here's the 2-1. Another juicy pitch that goes off the end of the bat.
Right, because both of those foul balls, it seems like Clonch is right on it. He's not late. He's just a little bit underneath it.
Bo from the stretch in a 5-0 Cotuit lead. Here's the pitch. Fastball again fouled away. Hofstra from Schererville, Indiana, goes to school in state with the Boilermakers. Was 3rd team All Big Ten in 2019 after he went 2-2 with a 1.62 ERA. Here's the pitch. Ground ball up the middle. This could be 2. Flip from Oviedo, steps on the bag, throws on to first, and just like that, the Doors' threat is extinguished.
Just about a worst-case scenario from Troy Clonch. Thought it might have gotten up the middle off the bat, but Oviedo shaded towards second place for exactly that reason, to turn the double play.
It's going to be Austin Maisel who's pinch hitting for Barron Radcliffe. Radcliffe was 0 for 2 with a couple of swinging strikeouts. And the DH is going to be replaced by the Holy Cross Crusader. Now this move, Radcliffe was clearly, struggling against the slow velocity of Holland. Would you not leave him in to face a guy who throws a little bit harder?
Yeah.
Maisel watches a ball.
I think it's just the fact that he started his playoffs 0 for 6 with a handful of Ks.
Here's the 1-0. Misses down and in. After the leadoff man, Jackson Coots got on, saw one pitch and singled it up the middle. He is erased from the base paths after Troy Claunch's double play. Here's the 2-0 to Maisel. Takes a huge hack. Loses the top hand on it. The Commodores go down empty in this inning. They'll only have 6 outs to work with and 5 runs to make up. 2-1. Bouncer over towards second base. Gonzalez on the backhand fields it cleanly. His throw to first in time. And the Cotuit pitching staff, Holland and Hofstra, face the minimum in the 7th. After a leadoff single, they get the next 2 out on a double play and another ground ball. The Doors with no runs and no errors against the Kettleers strand no runners on base. To the top of the 8th we go. 5-0 in favor of Cotuit.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Top of the 8th about to get underway at Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korsanowski on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. Brad Littleton back out on the bump for a 3rd inning of work, trying to keep this game at 5-0.
Littleton, the longest he's gone all summer was 2 1/3 against Hyannis in that 5-5 tie.
First pitch from the righty from Lewis University is grounded back towards Cantrell at second. A backhand throw on the run, and Shavers is retired on 1 pitch. Fancy play made by the second baseman.
Yeah, that's extremely tough. Backhanded up the middle and a quick throw. Littleton's doing his job, turning that double play, or forcing that double play in the 7th inning, and then a ground out right after it. He's working quickly and attacking the zone, forcing some quick swings.
In the 6th, he allowed a run on 2 hits. Has not allowed a run since. Now a pause, as it looked like Oviedo was not ready to get him up to the plate. Now he's got his batting gloves on, his shin guard and everything, and he's walking into the right-handed batter's box. Adams so far has a sacrifice fly, an RBI single, and a ground out to 3rd. First pitch he sees from Littleton, swung on and missed. Beautiful 77-mile-an-hour breaker. Oviedo from TCU will be transferring to Oral Roberts come the fall. 0-1, swung on and missed again. He had 3 straight 2-hit games that was snapped a night ago against Wareham when he went over. Could put up a 2-hit game right here. Got 2 strikes against him though. Here's Littleton's offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A 3-pitch K for Bradley Littleton, only his first of his outing, But there's 2 up and 2 down against Cotuit in the 8th.
And again, working quickly. That's a big K for the second out. Oviedo straggled a little bit getting up to the box, but then goes down quickly.
Dante Williams will be the hitter. He scored twice in the 2 times he's reached base. His speed is just so lethal. First pitch to the lefty, taken on the outside corner for strike 1. Got to make sure that you can limit Williams even with 2 outs. This bottom of the order has been pretty good for Cotuit, have reached base 4 times between Williams and Pasek. And then you're right back to Nick Gonzalez. 0-1, just off the plate. Williams, a rising junior at the University of Arizona, was 1 for 11 to end the regular season. He's turned it on in the playoffs with a hit in each game played. Or pardon me, 4 hits through his 3 games played. 1-1, misses low.
And Littleton's problem in his first couple outings was just the ball numbers. And right now he's firing twice as many strikes as balls. Has yet to issue a free pass. That game against Orleans, he was a little bit wild and then gave up some long fly balls.
His 2-1 offering falls just below the knees of Williams again to make it a friendly hitter's count. 3 balls, 1 strike to the 5'10 lefty. Cody Pasek awaiting on deck. Has not had a hit tonight, but has walked twice. Brad rocks and fires the 3-1. It's a ground ball towards first. Jackson Coots is there. He knocks it down. He underhands flips to Littleton, and that's the final out of the inning. The Kettleers go down 1-2-3 in the 8th, and the Doors will be back up to the plate with Steven Moretto set to lead off, trailing by 5. We'll be right back.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Doors have work to do and only 6 outs to do it with. Bottom of the 8th about to begin with Steven Moretto, Austin Langworthy, and the top of the order, Hayden Cantrell, due up against Bo Hofstra, who came on in the 7th with the runner on first and nobody out, and worked a double play and then a ground out to get out of the inning with ease.
Hofstra looked good, and the Doors, as you said, just 6 outs to work with. And the biggest thing, they have to get it to the top of the order. Ideally here, you want to get it past Cantrell and into the meat of Dunn, DeLoach, and Cruz, all of whom have not seen Hofstra yet and have just gone up against Holland.
First pitch from Hofstra to Moretto is taken outside. Steven, a flyout victim and a strikeout victim, 0 for 2. The Doors need a couple of big innings if they want to at least tie it. 1-0 is a strike. They have only 4 hits, no runs to show for, and 1 error. Cotuit, meanwhile, 10 hits for their 5 runs. Hofstra's 1-1. Line drive into deep left field, but that one will hang up long enough for Chavers to reel it in. Solid contact being made by a couple of these Commodores, but they just can't find grass.
Number 26, Austin Langworthy.
Yeah, exactly. And the more I'm thinking about it, Commodores haven't really had too many crazy big innings. In recent memory, the longest or the most runs they've scored in a half inning was 4 with the grand slam against Hyannis. But remember in that winning streak, they weren't putting up a ton of runs. It was the pitching that really carried them to 11 straight wins. So it might be tough and maybe not like this team to pile on 5, 6 in an inning.
The vast majority of those wins were only by about 2 or 3 runs max. And they were pretty low-scoring games. Highest run output, I think, was 8. 2-0 to Langworthy, misses down and in. And the rising senior from Florida staring at a walk ahead 3-0.
The last time the Doors scored 5 or more runs in a half inning was 6 innings in the top of the 4th against Chatham way back on July 11th.
Hofstra's 3-0. A get-me-over pitch. 3 balls, 1 strike to Langworthy, who's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop-out. Last night in the DH hole, he had a double and a walk in his final 2 plate appearances. Lines one back, and the count is full. Hayden Cantrell awaits on deck, has not batted from the left side yet in this ball game. His 3 at-bats were all against Holland. Here's the 3-2. Again, a foul ball. Trey Holland was masterful in his 6 innings of work. Only allowed 4 hits. Of course, no runs. Walked 2 and struck out 5. A lot of contact from Falmouth, but not very hard. Here's the 3-2 again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 up, 2 down for Bo Hofstra here in the 8th, and so far he has been perfect.
And again, Danny, the Commodores have gone down in the minimum in every inning since the 4th.
Last time they got a hit was in the 7th, but a double play erased that. They had a hit in the 6th, but he was picked off. First pitch to Hayden Cantrell at the knees for strike 1.
Yeah, that's the thing. Falmouth did try to test their luck a little bit on the base paths with that stolen base attempt from DeLoach. But it ended up coming back to bite them.
Zach did have a stolen base all the way back in the 1st inning. It brought him to 2nd. Didn't get too many base runners to test Holland, who threw very slow. 0-2 to Cantrell, up and away. Nobody on and 2 outs for the Commodores, and Hofstra has not allowed a base runner in this ball game through his inning and 2/3. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Cantrell for the 2nd time with strikes. He drops to 0 for 4, and the Doors are stagnant yet again offensively. They go down 1-2-3. We'll head to the 9th. Still 5-0 in favor of Cotuit.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field for the top of the 9th inning. Sean Mullen is going to toe the rubber for the Doors, trying to keep this a 5-run deficit. and hopefully swing momentum back in Falmouth's favor.
Yeah, Sean Mullen, pitcher for the Falmouth Commodores, coming after Bradley Littleton's 3 great innings of work. Mullen, a 7.42 ERA, pitched an inning and a third against Wareham on August 1st, and the time before that, 2 innings against Hyannis in a 9-5 win. He got absolutely slapped around. Gave up 3 home runs, 5 earned runs in just those 2 innings of work with 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Tied for the lead in the Cape League in home runs allowed.
Yeah, so Sean's ERA at 7.42, not pretty, but it's really only a couple of outings where, like you said, he's let up a good amount of home runs. A grand slam against Bourne comes to mind where he went a third of an inning, allowed 4 runs, and of course that Hyannis game, but he's had some pretty solid outings. Orleans on July 25th went 2 innings, only allowed a hit, didn't allow a run. There was a time against Yarmouth Dennis, the top team in average on the Cape, where he went 2 innings of hitless baseball. He'll have to face 9-1-2 in this Cotuit lineup, Pasek, Gonzalez, and Mervis. Pasek so far 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. First pitch to the lefty catcher is swung on and lifted into right field. Zach Deloach slides, and he makes the grab. Beautiful play by Deloach, a web gem to kick us off in the 9th.
That'll get the crowd into it, and that, again, will help you get it back to the bats. We keep saying that. This reminds me of a game back on July 1st against Orleans, where Orleans is up 3-1, and relievers Caleb Worster comes in, and he's locked down. Nate Maldonado does the same, and in that situation, Coach Landry, Jeff Trundy, and the rest of this coaching staff and team just looking at these guys for a hold, and they've delivered. It's just the bats that can't get going.
Gonzalez now down 0-1 after a strike is called at the knees. He's 2 for 4. First at bat, a swinging strikeout. Next at bat, an RBI single. Third at bat, a swinging strikeout. His next at bat, an RBI single. So he's due for a K.
Cotuit 3 outs away from shutting out the Falmouth Commodores in the playoffs. As a pitching staff, they only had 3 shutouts this summer. Once against Hyannis, 11-0 on June 12th. Once against Harwich, 2-0 on July 11th.
Here's a line drive right at Steven Moretto. Solid contact from Gonzalez, but Moretto is positioned perfectly. 2 up, 2 down.
Nice play by Moretto, and then that final shutout coming the day after against the 2-0 win over Harwich. It was a 5-0 win for the Kettleers against Bourne on July 13th.
Here's Matt Mervis. 0 for 4 so far on the day. First pitch to the big lefty is taken outside. Talk about home runs. When it comes to Sean Mullen, and Mervis is a big home run guy. 4 dingers throughout the regular season, tacked on 2 more in the postseason. 1-0 misses low. 3 of his 4 outs are also flyouts, and got really solid contact back in the 6th. Mullen from the windup. Agrees on a pitch with Claunch, comes home with the 2-0. It's a breaking ball that's cut on and missed.
Surprising to see Mervis 0 for 4 today. As you said, he's gotten some good contact, but he was actually hitting better than Gonzalez in the playoffs coming into this game.
Yeah, Mervis came into this game batting .333, 5 for 15. 2-1 well outside, and it's a hitter's count, 3 balls to 1 strike. Iraj Anu waits on deck. He's 2 for 4. Another big home run hitter. Mullen's offering. Swing and a miss. That off-speed pitch has been beautifully bottoming out against Matt.
Yeah, Mullen's got a lot of potential. I mean, there's some games where he did get tagged for those home runs, but those really solid outings in between, he looked like a Aiden Maldonado, a Caleb Worster type.
3-2, 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the pitch. A line drive foul, so let's try it again.
He's in the same year as Nick Nastrini. Only pitched 6 1/3 innings this year with the Bruins, though. But UCLA, one of those powerhouse programs.
out in the Pac-12 who work their younger guys in over the years.
11th pitch of the inning on its way from Mullen, who's trying to work a scoreless ninth. Here's the pitch. Upstairs for ball 4. Mervis reaches base for the first time. It's thanks to a walk. And now comes Araj Anu.
Number 30, Araj Anu.
And if there's one silver lining in this game so far for Falmouth, it's that the pitching staff really hasn't given many free passes. That was just the third walk of the night. There was one from Robleski, one from Sutko, one from Mullen.
We'll have to get through Araj Anu first, the big lefty who's off to the University of Kentucky come the fall. First pitch below the knees for ball 1. Anu, a contestant in the home run derby back at Orleans at Eldridge Park in mid-July. Racked up 19 home runs in his 2019 school season. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball towards Cantrell. This should do it for the inning. The throw on to first in time, and Mullen allows a 2-out walk, but he gets out of the inning unscathed. We'll head to the 9th, the Doors. With 3 outs to give and 5 runs to make up, they'll have 2, 3, and 4. Dunn, Deloach, and Cruz when we come back.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Urgent Care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Bottom of the 9th inning about to get underway. Bo Hofstra, who has not allowed a base runner against him in his couple of innings of work, will come on to try to lock this down for Cotuit. They lead 5-0.
And even though they have more than a 3-run lead, Hofstra is eligible for that extended save with 3 innings of work in relief.
Blake Dunn will lead things off and try to get things going for the Commodores. He's 0 for 3 with a pair of flyouts and a looking K. Dunn was red hot against Cotuit all summer long with a .409 batting average against the Kettleers during the regular season. First pitch he sees is a fastball for a strike. Falmouth went down in order in the 8th against Hofstra. He's faced 5 batters, retired all of them, struck out 2 of them, and got one of them to ground into a double play. Here's the righty's 1-1 offering to Dunn. Just catches that outside corner, the same one that Dunn was punched out on back in the 3rd. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball that's bounced over towards third base. Mervis catches it easily. Throw on to first. A little bit up the line. Dunn says that the first baseman Schmidt was off the bag, but no dice, says Alan Libardoni. That's the first out of the inning.
Now batting the right fielder from Texas.
Yeah, in the 9th inning, every ball put in play goes into slow motion.
Right.
And if you're a Cotuit fan, you're holding your breath. And Mervis took his time on the throw, still delivered it a little bit up the line. He's smiling now, knowing that he was lucky to get that first out.
Cotuit a very comfortable lead and only 2 outs away from winning Game 1 of the Western Division Final. First pitch swinging is Zach Deloach. It's a flare shot into left field. That one is going to get down. It's trapped by Parker Chavers in left. Couldn't make the diving catch, and Deloach has his 3rd single of the ball game.
Now batting the shortstop from Rice University.
One at a time. You can't score 5 runs all at once. You got to get a string of base hits and runners aboard, and maybe that first base runner to reach against Hofstra can help the Doors out in terms of confidence and offensive production.
Falmouth now has half the hits the Kettleers have. 10 for Cotuit, 5 for Falmouth. First pitch to Trey Cruz, who's batting lefty for the first time. It's a check swing chopper over towards Mervis. First out made at second base, but they will not relay it on to first. It was not a swing that Trey wanted to make, and he gets Deloach off the base paths, and the Doors are down to their final out.
The first baseman from the University of Rhode Island, number 39, Jackson Coots.
Cotuit with a win would only be one win away from the championship series against either Harwich or Yarmouth Dennis, and they'd only be 3 wins away from hoisting that trophy. First pitch to Coots. Cruz is running. Coots slaps it towards the other side, and he puts it into left field. Cruz is going to hold up at second, but Jackson is on to first base with another single.
Now batting the catcher from Oregon State University, number 24.
Again, one at a time. Claunch has been seeing the ball well. He had a base hit against Holland and then that double play in the 7th inning. So he's seen Hofstra before.
He got a good pitch to hit in that at-bat. It was on the inner half. It was about knee-high, and he rolled right over it. Put it perfectly to where Oviedo, the shortstop, was positioned. He's got Cruz on second, Coots on first. And 1 out to give. Here's the pitch. Hits the outside corner for strike 1. The Cotuit fans loud and proud here at Gov Fuller Field. The Commodores faithful haven't had much to cheer about. Hofstra's 0-1. Breaking ball that misses well outside. Troy Claunch has 1 hit during this postseason. Only 2 RBIs in his last 7 games played. Boy, would he love one here. The 1-1 swung on and missed, and the Commodores are down to their final strike.
It was a late swing from Claunch. He decided a little bit too late that one was going to be at the knees. Tried to shorten it up and get the bat head around in time, but couldn't do it.
Hofstra from the stretch comes set at the belt. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away, and Claunch will live to see another pitch.
All the pressure on Falmouth, though. Hofstra can afford another base hit or 2. It's really not much skin off his back.
Tying run still in the dugout for the Commodores. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. Late swing by Claunch. Goes off the end of the bat. Count remains 1-2 after a couple of foul balls from the catcher from Oregon State. 2 runners have reached. Deloach with a single, Coots with a single. Cruz on second thanks to the fielder's choice. The pitch again. A breaking ball that's lofted into shallow right field. This should be playable for Schmidt. He's underneath it, and he records the final out of the ball game. Cotuit wins game 1 by a score of 5-0. They completely shut out the Doors and keep their offense at bay pretty much all game long.
Yeah, that was not what a lot of us expected. Cotuit pitching staff who came into the game having given up 8 earned runs against Wareham in game 1 of that series, but then did shut down the Gatemen in games 2 and 3. They come in and silence the Falmouth Bats. 6 hits, but that's kind of misleading because the Doors added 2 in the 9th, and other than that, they just had a base runner here, a walk there. Really could get nothing going in the batter's box.
Cotuit with 5 runs on 10 hits, no errors. The Commodores, no runs, 6 hits, 1 error. Welcome back into the broadcast booth. Danny LaRose, David Korsanowski to my right. You look at some of these stats. Cotuit stranded 7 runners on base, Falmouth 6 runners on base, but it's just because they couldn't gather those hits. Trey Holland was too good.
Yeah, no question about it, Danny. Holland was the story of this game. He goes 6 innings shutout, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Unbelievable stuff from him.
He's not a fireballer. He was just kind of maxing out at about 82 or 83, but the Doors were off balance all game long, and then Bo Hofstra in relief was excellent as well. He locks down the save. So Holland with the win, Robleski with the loss. His first inning was fantastic. He worked 2 strikeouts, a 1-2-3 inning, but then in the second and the third was tagged for a bunch of hits.
Yeah, and the Doors just have to get going offensively. This feels pretty similar to that loss to Bourne in Game 2, except now you got to win 2 and 3, and it's tough to do. But Falmouth has just got to get back to the drawing board and erase this loss from their mind.
Cotuit was able to do it in round 1 against the Gatemen. They have now won 3 straight after losing 7-6 in walk-off fashion out at Wareham. They clobbered the Gatemen 22-2 at Lowell Park in Game 2 and then won Game 3 4-1. The Commodores, meanwhile, have split every other game they've played. Won Game 1, lost Game 2, won Game 3, have now lost Game 1. And it's time to dig deep because there's only 1 game left for the Doors to really save their season, and at this point your backs are against the wall.
Yeah, exactly, and it's even more pressure than Game 3 against Bourne because you got to win 2 now. But you can only win 1 at a time, right? You got to go out to Lowell, and that's a tough place to play. I mean, that's weird to say in a summer league that an opposing team has a tough ballpark to play at, but these fans were loud here at Gov Fuller Field. They're going to be even louder tomorrow.
The left side pretty much filled up completely with Kettleers fans, and they were loud and proud the whole game. Falmouth side, not so much, didn't have too much to cheer about. Once again, for the final time, final score from this one is 5-0 in favor of the Kettleers. Getting the win is Trey Holland, the loss, Justin Robleski, the save, Bo Hofstra. Game 2 will be tomorrow, 4 p.m. first pitch out at Cotuit. Be sure to tune in at 3:50 for the pregame show as the Doors try to save their season and push this Western Division final into a Game 3. That'll do it here from Gov Fuller Field. For my producer, Maxwell Trink, our sideline reporter, Katie Florio, and my broadcast partner, David Korzenowski, I'm Daniel LaRose saying so long, and we'll see you tomorrow out at Cotuit.